Now, I have some proof that Darlie does cry and that tears will fall down her cheeks when she's upset about something. I have absolute proof of that. Right here, she's explaining going to death row and some of the women meeting her there in the show Death Row Women.
Committed these crazy, heinous acts. How am I going to defend myself? But every woman in there came up and hugged me.
She says every woman in there came up and hugged me, but they don't walk around free out of their cell. I don't know how that happened. But then she goes on to talk about one particular woman.
I was blown away. I was blown away.
Who were these women?
Karla Faye Tucker.
Tucker, in 1983, was convicted of killing Jerry Lynn Dean.
Also dead, a young woman with a large pickaxe still embedded in her chest.
She plunged the pickaxe into the bodies of her victims while she was in a drugged rage.
Karla was just amazing. Just tried to encourage me, took me under her wing. I was so young and in shock.
When she was executed in February 1998, she was the first woman to be put to death in Texas in 135 years.
And what's that like when someone that you've become close to actually goes to the death chamber?
It's horrible.
She actually has a tear running down her eye. Speaking of pickaxe murderer, Karla Faye Tucker.
Horrible because you get to know these women. You see the other sides of them, their families, their just everything did not fit.
See the tear? Unlike when she speaks about her sons, Devon and Damon, you don't see tears running down her eye. But you will for a pickaxe murderer that you knew for 2 years. After spending the weekend using drugs with Garrett and his friends, Tucker and Garrett entered Jerry Dean's apartment in Houston, Texas around 3 a.m. on Monday, June 13, 1983, intending to steal a motorcycle that Dean was restoring there. James Lieberant, a friend, went with them to Dean's apartment complex. Lieberant reported that he went looking for Dean's El Camino, while Tucker and Garrett entered the apartment with a set of keys that Tucker claimed Sean Dean had lost and Tucker found. During the burglary, Tucker and Garrett entered Dean's bedroom where Tucker sat on him. In an effort to protect himself, Dean grabbed Tucker above the elbows, whereupon Garrett intervened. Garrett struck Dean numerous times in the back of his head with the ball-peen hammer that he found on the floor. After hitting Dean, Garrett left the room to carry motorcycle parts out of the apartment. Tucker remained in the bedroom. The blows that Garrett had dealt Dean caused him to begin making a gurgling sound. Tucker wanted to stop him from making that noise. Kind of reminds you of the murder of Tom Poston, Shayna Hubers out of Kentucky, where she had shot him once and he was gurgling, so she shot him again to stop him from making that noise. Then she picked up a 3-foot pickaxe that was lying against the wall and began hitting Dean. Garrett then re-entered the room and dealt Dean a fatal blow in the chest. Garrett left the bedroom again to continue loading Dean's motorcycle parts into his Ford Ranchero. Tucker was once again left in the room, and only then noticed a woman who had hidden under the bed covers against the wall. The woman, Deborah Ruth Thornton, had argued with her husband the day before, went to a party, and ended up spending the night in Dean's bed. Upon discovering Thornton, Tucker grazed her shoulder with the pickaxe. Thornton and Tucker began to struggle, but Garrett returned and separated them. Tucker proceeded to hit Thornton repeatedly with the pickaxe, and then embedded the axe into her heart. Tucker would later tell people and testify that she experienced multiple intense orgasms with each blow of the pickaxe. And here you see Darlie crying for her. She only knew her for 2 years. 2 years. More tears. Good, wet tears. You can well them eyes up, Darlie, but not a single tear comes out, she says. You don't know what kind of tears I cry when I'm alone. Now, she talks about Devon and Damon in interviews, and you don't see this. But for a pickaxe killer?
What I thought in my head of somebody being on death row.
In the 23 years.
So Darlie can cry, y'all.